Picture two women, same city, same neighborhood, similar age. The first woman earns $88,000 a year. She is smart, she worked hard to get here, and she treats herself because she deserves it. She earned every dollar. Her closet has 140 pieces, blazers still in dry cleaning bags, shoes worn twice, a rotating shelf of skincare products she subscribed to during a rough month and never canceled. She knows every Zara sale, every Reformation drop, every Sephora birthday gift. She tips well at restaurants. She upgrades her phone every 2 years. She buys candles for her apartment and wine for Sunday evenings and $14 matcha latte because this season of her life should feel like something. And yet, she checks her bank account on the last Sunday of every month with a hollow, slightly sick feeling she cannot explain. She has $1,300 saved. She is one car repair away from credit card debt. She earns well. She has almost nothing to show for it. The second woman earns $57,000 a year. She went through a divorce 2 years ago and rebuilt from nearly zero. She kept 42 pieces in her wardrobe, all worn, all intentional. Her skincare routine costs $85 per month total. She buys quality and weight. She checks a bank account on the same Sunday night with the calm of someone who already knows what she will find there. She has 15 months of expenses saved. She invests $580 every single month automatically before she touches anything else. She has options the first woman does not. She can say no to things. She can leave things. She can choose. Same city. The woman earning $31,000 less has 11 times the financial security. This is not a story about income, and it is not a story about sacrifice. It is a story about a system that was built deliberately to keep women exactly like the first woman, exactly where she is, spending, insecure, and financially dependent. And it is a story about the minimalist money rules that break that system permanently. If you are a woman who earns well, works hard, and still wonders why the money disappears every month, follow this page. I publish weekly content for women who are done being successful at their careers and financially invisible in their own life. You deserve to keep what you earn. Today I am going to walk you through the minimalist money rules that separate women who always have money from women who always wonder where it went, regardless of their salary. But first, I need to tell you something that most financial content will never say out loud, because most financial content is also trying to sell you something. The financial insecurity that millions of smart, high-earning women experience is not an accident. It is not a personal failure. It is the intended outcome of a consumer economy that identifies women, specifically women who are independent, ambitious, and slightly anxious about their worth, as its most profitable target. Understanding this is not optional. It is the foundation of every rule that follows. The system was built to keep you spending. The global beauty industry generates $571 billion per year. The fashion industry generates $1.7 trillion. The home decor market exceeds $700 billion. These are not industries that grew organically from human need. They were engineered with precision, with psychology, and with decades of research to exploit one specific vulnerability: the belief that you are not enough as you are. Insecure women buy more? That is not a cynical observation. It is a documented marketing strategy. The advertising model that has dominated women's media for over a century is built on a single mechanism. Show a woman an image of who she should be. Make her feel the distance between that image and herself. Then sell her a product that temporarily closes the gap. The gap never closes permanently. It was never supposed to. A woman who feels complete does not buy the next serum, the next collection, the next version of herself. The financial dependency angle runs even deeper. For most of recorded history, women were legally and economically dependent on men. In the United States, women could not open individual bank accounts until 1960, could not apply for credit cards in their own names until 1974, and could not take out business loans without a male cosigner until 1988. Financial dependency was not just a social norm, it was infrastructure. And when those legal barriers were removed, the cultural ones remained, reinforced by media, advertising, and a consumer economy that profits directly from women who do not trust themselves with money. Women are taught to spend on appearance and emotion. Men are taught to invest in assets. The statistical result is exactly what the system designed. Women in the United States hold 32 cents for every dollar of wealth that men hold. Women retire with an average of 30% less savings than men, despite, in many cases, earning comparable salaries. The gap is not entirely explained by the wage gap. A significant portion is explained by where the money goes. You were handed a script. The script says, buy the clothes, buy the skincare, buy the home aesthetic. Look the part, treat yourself, you deserve it. The script keeps you spending just enough that saving and investing feel impossible or somehow irresponsible, somehow selfish, when they are the only tools that build the kind of independence no relationship status can take away from. The minimalist money rules are not about deprivation. They are about seeing the script for what it is and choosing to write your own. Rule 1. Calculate true cost per use before every purchase. The fashion and beauty industries built their entire revenue model around the moment of purchase, the dopamine hit, the unboxing, the feeling of newness. They have zero financial interest in what happens after you walk out of the store or close the browser tab. That is exactly where you need to focus. Before buying anything, estimate realistically how many times you will use it in the next 12 months. Divide the cost by that number. That is your cost per use, the only honest measure of whether something is worth buying. A $220 dress worn twice costs $110 per wear. A $380 dress worn 90 times over 3 years costs $4.22 per wear. The expensive dress is genuinely cheaper by every meaningful measure. Meanwhile, that $180 eyeshadow palette with 24 shades where you realistically use for costs $45 per shade, an absurd price for pigment you could replace with 3 targeted $12 single. This calculation destroys impulse purchases instantly. The $260 kitchen appliance used 4 times a year costs $65 per use. The math is not sentimental. It does not care that the packaging was beautiful or that you are having a hard week. It just tells the truth. Apply it consistently, and you will find that a small category of purchases, the mattress used nightly, the espresso machine used daily, the coat worn 150 times over 5 winters, represent genuine value. Most of what gets bought on emotion does not survive the calculation. Rule 2. Recognize which purchases are selling you back to yourself. This is the rule. The beauty and fashion industries spend billions to prevent you from ever internalizing. A significant portion of what women spend money on is not buying something new. It is buying relief from insecurity that was artificially created and then aimed directly at you. The anti-aging serum is not solving aging. It is temporarily quieting the voice that told you aging is a failure. The outfit for the event is not just solving a clothing need. It is purchasing the feeling of being enough in a room that might judge you. The apartment renovation is not just updating a kitchen. It is buying a version of your life that looks like the ones you were shown are worth having. None of this makes you shallow. It makes you a woman who was marketed to from childhood with extraordinary sophistication. The beauty industry has studied female psychology longer and more carefully than almost any institution on earth, because the findings are worth hundreds of billions annually. They know which insecurities to activate, which language to use, which images create the precise amount of aspirational distance that generates a purchase without generating resistance. The way out is not to stop caring about how you look or how your home feels. It is to separate genuine preference from manufactured inadequacy. Before any non-essential purchase, ask one honest question. Am I buying this because I genuinely want it, or because something made me feel like I was not enough without it? That pause is worth thousands of dollars per year to the women who practice it. Rule 3. Build a wardrobe that serves you, not the industry. The fashion industry operates on planned obsolescence. Trends exist not because beauty is naturally cyclical, but because the clothing you already own needs to feel wrong, so you will buy new clothing. The average trend cycle has compressed from 2 seasons per year in the 1990s to over 52 micro-seasons per year in fast fashion today. One engineered new trend per week, every week, designed to make your existing wardrobe feel perpetually behind. Women in the United States buy an average of 68 garments per year. Most are worn fewer than 7 times before being discarded or forgotten. The average American woman has approximately $1,800 worth of clothing she never wears sitting in her closet. Right now, Money that is completely frozen, generating nothing, occupying space, and quietly contributing to the feeling that she still has nothing to wear. The minimalist approach is precise. Define a total number, typically 33 to 50, including shoes and outerwear, and hold to it with a 1 in, 1 out. Every addition requires a subtraction. This single constraint forces genuine evaluation before every purchase. The money freed in 1 year of intentional shopping funds, months of investment contributions. That is not a small number. That is the difference between two versions of your financial life. Rule 4. Automate investing before you can spend it. The most important financial decision most women delay is also treating investment contributions as a fixed expense that happens automatically before anything else, not an optional gesture with whatever happens. To remain after the month is over. Whatever remains after the month is over is almost always zero. This is not a discipline failure. It is how spending works. Expenses expand to fill available income with extraordinary reliability across every income level, in every city, at every salary. The woman earning $55,000 spends $55,000. The woman earning $90,000 spends $90,000. The amounts change. The pattern does not, unless it is deliberately broken at the structural level. The structural break is automation. On the day your paycheck lands, a fixed transfer moves to your investment account before you see it, before you feel it, before it has a chance to become something else. You do not decide each month whether to invest. You decided once. The system executes that decision permanently. Start at 10% of take-home income. Increase by 1% every January without requiring a new decision. This single change, sustained over a decade, is the most significant financial difference between the two women described at the beginning of this essay. Not income, not luck. One automated transfer made permanent. Rule 5. Never upgrade out of comparison. There is a specific pattern of spending that disproportionately affects ambitious, high-achieving women, and it almost never gets named directly. It is the upgrade that happens not because something broke or became genuinely insufficient, but because someone else acquired something better and you felt the distance. A colleague moves into a nicer apartment. Yours suddenly feels inadequate. A friend buys a new car. Your reliable paid-off vehicle starts to embarrass you. Someone's social media renovation makes your kitchen look like a placeholder. The desire to upgrade is not really about the apartment, the car, or the kitchen. It is about the story you are telling yourself about where you are relative to where you believe you should be. The minimalist rule is precise. Never replace something that functions adequately because someone else has something better. The car that reliably drives you is not failing. Your tolerance for comparison is. The lifetime savings of this one rule applied across housing, vehicles, technology, and furnishings routinely exceeds $300,000 over a career. That number represents not just money, but options. The options that disappear one upgrade at a time. Rule 6. Define financial independence as non-negotiable. Here's what financial dependence actually costs women, stated plainly. A woman who cannot financially sustain herself independently stays in relationships longer than she should. She tolerates things she should not have to tolerate. She makes career decisions around what a partner earns rather than what she wants to build. She delays leaving bad situations, bad marriages, bad jobs, bad cities, bad versions of her own life because the math does not work without someone else's income supporting the equation. Financial dependence is not just a money problem, it is a freedom problem. It is a safety problem. It is the mechanism through which women's choices get quietly and consistently narrowed over decades. The minimalist approach to money is not about minimalism for its own sake. It is about building the specific financial margin that makes genuine independence possible, not theoretical independence, but the kind where you have 12 months of expenses saved, investments compounding without your daily attention, and zero reliance on any person or circumstance outside your control to maintain your standard. Every time you choose not to spend money you could spend, you are purchasing your own freedom incrementally. You are not depriving yourself, you are building the infrastructure of a life you actually control. Rule 7. Create friction for spending and ease for growing willpower. It is weakest when you are tired, stressed, lonely, or celebrating, which is to say, it is weakest exactly when spending feels most justified and most earned. Do not build your financial future on willpower. Build it on structure. Spending friction looks like this. Remove every stored credit card number from every retail website. Delete shopping apps from your phone entirely. Unsubscribe from every brand. Each one is a precision-engineered instrument designed to separate you from money you have not yet decided to spend. Require a 48-hour hold before any non-essential purchase above $40. Research consistently shows that roughly 70% of purchase desires dissolve within 48 hours if not immediately acted upon. You are not buying the item. You are buying a feeling in a moment that passed. Investment ease looks like this. Automate everything. Transfer to your investment account on payday. Set contributions to increase by 1% every January without requiring a conscious decision. Keep your checking account funded for monthly expenses and nothing more. Money sitting idle in checking is money waiting to become something you did not need. Make saving automatic and spending effort. The right choice becomes structural rather than heroic. Rule 8. Measure wealth by what you can choose. The consumer economy measures success by what you own. The apartment, the wardrobe, the car, the visible markers that signal a life well constructed to other people. This measurement serves the economy. It does not serve. The only measure of wealth that matters to a woman who wants to live on her own terms is optionality. What can you choose? Can you leave a relationship that stopped working without financial catastrophe? Can you resign from a job that is damaging your health before you have the next one secured? Can you relocate for an opportunity, or take for months to figure out what you actually want, or decline something that pays well but costs something that matters? These choices are only available to women who have built real margin between what they earn and what their life costs to sustain. The woman earning $160,000 and spending $155,000 has almost no real freedom. She's financially fragile despite her income, one disruption away from crisis, dependent on her circumstances remaining exactly as they are. The woman earning $72,000 and spending $44,000 has extraordinary freedom. She can absorb shocks. She can take risks. She can make decisions based on what she genuinely wants from her own life. Every purchase is a trade, money for an object, but also optionality for possession. Ask yourself honestly, before every significant spend, is this worth reducing my ability to choose? Rule 9. Apply the replacement test to everything you already own. Walk through your home and look at each item you possess. Ask one honest question. If this disappeared today, would I actually spend money to replace it? Not theoretically. Not someday, maybe. Would you go buy another one this week? For most items, the unused kitchen appliances, the clothes not touched in 14 months, the beauty products half finished and long abandoned, the decor purchase for a version of your home that existed briefly in your imagination. The honest answer is no. You would not replace them. They exist through inertia, not intention. And these items carry a cost that continues every day you keep them. Storage space, mental attention, the low-grade visual noise of owning more than you. Items that fail the replacement test do not belong in your space or your budget. Sell what has value. Donate what someone else could use. Let go of what serves nobody. The psychological clarity after a serious declutter is immediate, and rooms feel larger. Decisions feel simpler. You know what everything is because everything remaining has a purpose. That clarity extends directly into financial decisions. Rule 10. Practice cyclical decluttering instead of annual purges. Most women who attempt minimalism do a dramatic single purge, feel relief for 3 weeks, and quietly reaccumulate to their starting point within 80 months. One item at a time. One sale at a time. One tread yourself moment at a time until the closet is full again and the bank account is back where it started. The solution is maintenance rather than emergency intervention. Small, regular reviews, a weekly glance at what entered your space, a monthly honest evaluation of one category, a quarterly check of overall accumulation trend. Catch drift before it rebuilds into an overwhelming problem. Removing 4 items per week is sustainable indefinitely. Removing 200 items in one overwhelming Saturday gets postponed indefinitely and resented when it finally happens. The cyclical approach also builds awareness that purging alone cannot create. When you evaluate your possessions regularly, you begin to see patterns. Which categories accumulate fastest in your specific life? Which emotional states trigger purchases for you? Which marketing has the most purchase on your psychology in particular? That self-knowledge is preventive. It stops accumulation from starting rather than cleaning it up after the fact. How to start a timeline that actually works this week. Walk through your home and apply the replacement test to every item you see. Identify 10 things you would not spend money to replace if they disappeared today. Remove them, sell, donate, or discard. Notice what it actually feels like to let go of things you were keeping out of inertia rather than genuine want. This month, implement the 48-hour rule for every non-essential purchase over $40. Keep a simple note tracking every purchase impulse you had and whether it survived the waiting. The data will show you precisely how much of your current spending is impulse rather than intention. Most women find the numbers shocking. This quarter, count your possessions in 3 categories that accumulate fastest: clothing, beauty products, and home decor. The actual numbers down. Set a maximum threshold for each based on honest, not aspiration. Apply a 1 in, 1 out rule from this point forward. This year, automate one investment contribution, even if it begins at $150 per month. Increase it by $50 every quarter until it reaches at least 15% of your take-home income. Define what financial independence looks like for you, specifically the exact savings balance, the exact monthly investment amount, the exact point at which you could sustain your full life independently for 80 months without any income. Write that number down. That is what every financial decision you make from here forward is either serving or undermining. The relationship runs in both directions. Here is what no one in personal finance and no one in feminist media tends to say together in the same sentence. Owning less builds wealth, and building wealth makes owning less feel natural and easy. When your savings account is substantial and your investments are growing without your daily attention, the psychological pressure to spend diminishes significantly. The need for retail comfort, the identity validation of a well-curated apartment, the feeling that purchasing something is the same as rewarding yourself. These drives weaken when your financial life already tells you the story of a woman who is capable, secure, and in control. You stop needing things to feel like you are succeeding because the numbers confirm it directly. This creates a cycle that compounds in your favor. Deliberate spending leads to real savings. Real savings create security. Security reduces the emotional drive to spend. Reduced spending accelerates wealth building, and wealth building creates more security. Each turn reinforces the next. The opposite cycle is equally powerful and far more common. Overspending creates financial anxiety. Financial anxiety drives comfort spending. Comfort spending deepens the anxiety, and the pattern continues until a crisis forces a reckoning. The system profits from the second cycle. Every rule in this essay is a step toward the first. 2 women, 1 decision. Go back to the 2 women at the beginning. The one earning $57,000 with 15 months of savings and $580 invested every month did not get there through exceptional income or exceptional willpower. She got there because a painful chapter, the divorce, the starting over, forced her to see clearly what she had been too comfortable to examine before. She saw the script. She stopped following it. She built something better, deliberately, 1 decision at a time. The other woman, earning $88,000, smart, hardworking, financially invisible in her own life, is not failing because she is careless or irresponsible. She is the intended product of an economy that has spent decades perfecting the art of separating ambitious women from their money before it can become power. She was never shown that her spending patterns were a strategy aimed specifically at her. She was only ever shown the clothes, the products, the version of herself that would be possible with 1 more purchase. You were handed that same script. You did not write it, but from this point forward, you are the one who decides whether you keep following. Financial independence is not a luxury reserved for women who got lucky or women who gave things up. It is the infrastructure of a life you actually control, the foundation beneath every choice you get to make freely, every situation you get to leave, every version of your future you get to build entirely on your own terms. You earned the money. The only question left is whether you are going to keep it.